There used to be WWE and then everything else, and that's just not the case anymore. There's so much opportunity out there for performers and athletes to make a name for themselves elsewhere, and TNA is one of those platforms that's absolutely been killing it and really doing a great job of building stars in its own right. So that excites me. That makes me excited for the future. So
What is going on, you guys? Rick Ucchino here for the Takedown on SI YouTube channel with a face you certainly know and a name you are getting reacquainted with. Daria Berenato is my guest here today. How are you doing? Thank you so much for your time.
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I do have to ask you, because I'm pretty sure I almost screwed it up there. How often do you get called Daria? Because it is very hard for me with the
Yeah.
MTV show from back in the day.
The show really messed it up for me. Everybody I know says Daria. Even like people that I'm friends with for years now still say Daria, and I just stopped correcting people. So you're fine either way.
All right, sounds good. I'll do my best not to screw it up. But you know what? For like nearly a decade of being known in the public eye as Sonya Deville, how has this process been of kind of rediscovering who Daria is and building your brand and reintroducing yourself to the fans? What has that been like these last few months now?
It kind of feels very freeing. It just feels good to have my name back, my birth given name. I always loved my name because it was different and not everyone in school had the same name. So, no, it's exciting. It's exciting and kind of metaphoric to my path right now and just doing what I like to do and following my heart and doing the things that bring me happiness.
My first 3 years in radio, I was doing work under an alias, and I hated it. Like, to me, it almost
Really.
felt like someone else was getting recognition for my work in a weird way. So it's like the first opportunity I saw to switch to my real name, I did it, and I've stuck with it for aging myself here 14 years now. Getting the opportunity to build up your own name now, what does that mean to you?
No, it's important. It's special. I feel like I was first introduced to the world as Daria because on Tough Enough, still had my real name. And then I was able to kind of take Sonia and make this whole new persona and character out of her. I very much always differentiated Daria from Sonia. They were never the same person in my mind. So it's cool to kind of, I don't know, Sonia had a great 10-year run and put her to rest. And now kind of embark on chapter two as Daria is exciting.
You have a really cool opportunity coming up Friday night. I want to make sure we talk about that. Invicta, excuse me, Fighting Championships. You're joining the commentary team for this weekend. This is something you've got to be pretty excited about, getting back to your roots here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It feels like, as cliche as it sounds, like I'm coming back home. MMA has always been where my heart's at. It was one of my first loves. I started training when I was 15 years old and then obviously took a different path. So it kind of feels very full circle and nostalgic. And I've looked up to Invicta and I wanted to fight in Invicta 11 years ago when I was fighting MMA. So it's really cool to kind of be on the other side of things next to Megan Anderson and Julie Kenzie, two girls, two women that I've looked up to for so long. So it's going to be exciting.
I always thought you were a very strong talker, dating back to that great run that you had in the summer of 2020, one of the bright spots of a year that didn't have many. It is really nice to kind of see you parlay those skills now into the podcasting world and getting back onto the commentary team.
Yeah, I really think it happened very organically. It kind of was just I connected with Shannon Knapp, the president of Invicta, and things just clicked. And when things like that happen, I take note of them and I really try to listen to the universe and listen to where my path is taking me. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm really excited.
Getting to do the podcast, getting to do commentary. You've said before that you always wanted to be an actress. Can we expect more from you on the entertainment side of things as you map out your future here? Or can we expect some, hair up, square up action at some point? Might we see you in a place like TNA in the future, for example? What can people expect out of this the next few months for you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the future. I do have some things in the works that I can't talk about yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to be a little elusive, but I love what the world of professional wrestling looks like right now. There used to be WWE and then everything else, and that's just not the case anymore. There's so much opportunity out there for performers and athletes to make a name for themselves elsewhere. And TNA is one of those platforms that's absolutely been killing it and really doing a great job of building stars in its own right. So that excites me. That makes me excited for the future. So never say never. But I'm really excited about what I'm about to do with Invicta. I'm honored to be a part of an organization like this and just to watch these badass women go toe to toe. I went to Invicta FC 61, the last fight card, and I was just blown away. From top to bottom, the card was incredible. It was the first Invicta event I had attended in over 10 years. I was
Wow.
at one of the very first Invicta events as a spectator and potential player in the game. I was there kind of hoping to one day fight in the Invicta cage, and now here I am on the commentary team. So it's very full circle. It's very exciting, and I feel like I'm right where I need to be right now.
You know, you talk about being there like 10 years ago, seeing where things have gone now, not just for Invicta, not just for professional wrestling, but, women's athletics as a whole, what it's done over the last 10 years. I really do think that professional wrestling was kind of on the forefront of it, but you see, what the WWE has been able to grow into. What's that been like to watch, all of these spectacular women, whether it's on the Olympic stage, whether it's the NBA court, the wrestling ring, the MMA ring, seeing the rise in popularity and these amazing female athletes finally getting their due. What's that been like?
It's been really cool, and I feel like I've been able to be a part of it in multiple different ways, but it kind of feels crazy to be part of Invicta because I feel like Invicta is really one of the pillars at the forefront of the women's evolution. I mean, Shannon App was booking all female fight cards, you know, back before females were even fighting in the UFC, I believe. So it's like she really is a pioneer for that. And so I'm excited to be a part of an organization that's always been focused on female athletics and female sports. And honestly, I think it's going to be an incredible fight card.
For sure. And it's one of these opportunities that, is kind of the silver lining of what happened earlier this year, right? Like you wouldn't be able to do this right now, most likely, if you were still with WWE. But I am kind of curious your mindset of everything that when things went down the way that they did, because we have seen others immediately hop right back into the water. Shotzi, believe going to MLW. Cora Jade has signed on with a few other independent promotions. You've kind of seemingly been kind of waiting out your options. Is that what you kind of wanted to do here? Is kind of take a breath, take a moment, and kind of reflect and feel where the best place for you would be?
Yeah, I mean, I look at my departure from WWE as like it's such a positive thing. Like I don't have any animosity. I don't have any like, man, I wish I would have. I really am happy with my tenure there. And so coming off of it, I don't have this feeling of like I have to do something right now. I'm really enjoying the moment and the path that I'm currently on. And the Invicta thing kind of seemed like the perfect fit for everything that I want to do right now. Just kind of being aligned with a company that's doing so many great things and to work hand in hand with Shannon Knapp is really, really cool. And other than that, I'm just gonna take things day by day. I don't have any answers right now. Like I said, I've had a few conversations that I can't talk about yet, but I think that if you're a fan of Sonya Deville, you will be a fan of Chapter Two. So keep watching.
You talked about this a little bit, but just the landscape of professional wrestling, where it is right now with all of the viable options, TNA obviously being one, AEW, WWE, New Japan. It obviously has to be comforting in the long run, but knowing that so many people have been able to carve out very successful careers outside of WWE, how much does that help, like in the immediate moment when you get a phone call like that? Because you said it was a shock to you at the time.
Yeah, it was definitely surprising, but when you're there, you always know at some point your time is going to come to an end. No one's been there forever, right? Everyone gets let go or leaves at some point. People even come back. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? It was more like, okay, let's take a beat. Let's see what my heart's really feeling like doing. For 10 years I was doing the same thing and it was so fun and it was so rewarding, but it was like, okay, now I'm back in the driver's seat and I like being in the driver's seat of my own life. And so it's an exciting place for me to be, to have this newfound kind of freedom and fluidity with what I want to do next. And there's opportunities that I've had in the past and had to say no to that I can now explore. So that's kind of some of the catch up that I'm playing now is just going back and seeing what my heart really wants to do and what I'm really going to enjoy doing in this next chapter.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the latest round of WWE releases, which hit honestly, a lot of fans incredibly hard, especially fans of women's wrestling. Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, somebody you're obviously very familiar with. Shotzi, as I mentioned, Cora Jade. There's so much talent there, and really some very mixed messages from WWE after they commissioned two new championships for the women's division, belts that were desperately needed due to the abundance of talent at their disposal. Rumors continue to heat up about, Evolution 2 being on the horizon, and yet like well over a dozen women are released in the last few months, yourself included. It's hard to really know what to think if you're a fan of women's wrestling for WWE. A lot of people are upset, a lot of people are confused, and I'll admit I'm among them, right? Like it's really kind of hard to gauge everything that's going on there.
Well, I think it's all about perspective, right? Because it's like I don't feel like any of them are going to be at a loss going forward. Like Dakota Kai's, the Cora Jades, the Shayna Baszlers, like they have every opportunity and forthright to now go to these other companies and make just as big of a name for themselves, if not reinvent themselves. And so I look at it as a positive thing. And those that I've spoken to are also in high spirits and excited for the future. It's like, okay, maybe WWE wasn't your home for right now, but it doesn't mean that it can't be in the future. But it also doesn't mean that it needs to be. There's other places to go now. And so I feel like these women, uh, I look at a release as an opportunity to reinvent and go after something else or take a different path or kind of look back at what you've done and see what you want to do. I look at it as a gift. It's all about perspective. It's all about what you make of it next. So I see girls like the ones we just named going and being bigger and better than ever.
I'm not trying to have you speak for anybody else, but like amongst the sea of hate and negativity and vitriol that we see online, right? There are people who are eager to express their support for talent and push for them to get a push or to be better utilized. And a lot of, what goes on behind the scenes, whether or not you're used creatively or not, as you can probably attest to, it's not within your control. When you do see stuff like that, is it there to help the situation, knowing that you have that support, or does it kind of make you more frustrated because you feel like you're doing everything that you can to get the opportunities?
So here's my thing, and maybe this is a toxic trait of mine, but I always used to say this to my dad. My dad would be like, "Oh my God, do you see all these good comments online about you? They said you're this and they said you're that." And he'd try to get me all hyped up because he was just genuinely excited as a dad. And I'd be like, yeah. And I was the same way with the hate. Like I try to stay very grounded and keep a level head because as quick as the fans can be against you, they can be behind you the next week. And so I love the sport and I love my fans and I have a Patreon account pretty much dedicated entirely to my fan base, but it's really important I think to take everything online with a grain of salt. I mean, because if you're down every time they're hating on you and telling you you had a horrible match, and then you're up every time they're hyping you up, like then you're kind of at the dictation of their mercy. And I don't like that. I like to kind of be in control of my own mind. And so I kind of just yeah, I try to just believe in myself through the good and the bad. I've had bad moments on TV and the fans have been very vocal about that and let me know. And then I've had highs where, everyone changes their tune. The same people that were hating are now loving. And so yeah, I don't like to flow like that. I like to just try to keep a level head and know what I'm worth.
Yeah, it's yeah, as somebody who has also taken, obviously not to that level, but somebody who has taken some online criticism for one thing or another. It is like it's so much easier said than done, though. Like in that situation.
It is, but I don't know. I guess I'm very used to being the underdog. I feel like I'm always kind of the little engine that could, maybe a bit of a late bloomer, kind of in everything in life, in sports, and in everything. And so I kind of find joy in proving people wrong. And so when I see the hate, I say to myself, "Hmm, they don't know what I know about myself yet.
Yeah.
Yet. They will, because I will prove myself, I always do, but they just don't know it yet, and that's okay. It's not for them to know.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to give you a chance to plug the podcast that you're doing. Looks like you're having a blast doing it, obviously. So kind of just
Yeah.
tell people who aren't aware of it yet, just what is it about, who's it with, and what can they expect if they tune in?
Yes. So I released my podcast with my beautiful wife. It's called Unwrapped with Daria and Tony. It's available on Spotify and YouTube right now. And then we do exclusive bonus episodes on Patreon. And it's really a modern day lifestyle podcast. There's my wife walking in the
I was going to
background
say we got a Joe
right
Henry
now.
situation here. Say her
She's
name and she appears.
there she yeah, look at that. I'm like Houdini. But yeah, so it's like a modern day lifestyle podcast. We talk about literally everything from relationships to parenting to being a step parent to wrestling to all the things across the board. We have a lot of fun. We like to break each other's chops and make fun of each other because that is quite similar to our dynamic in real life. And yeah, we're gonna have guests on coming soon. So yeah, it's super exciting.
All right, one more time, plug Invicta. What's going on? Where can people watch it and tune in and hear all
Yes.
your wonderful commentary this weekend?
Yes, come see me, come say hi, or tune in on CBS Sports. You can also watch the prelims on YouTube. It's Invicta FC 62 at the Lex in Kansas City, Missouri. I will be there alongside Megan Anderson and Julie Kenzie on commentary. I'm excited. There's some badass matchups on this card, and I can't wait to watch with you guys.
All right, Daria Berenato. There we go. Make sure I get that one
You
right.
did it.
Yes, I got it. Well, as somebody who's had their last name pronounced wrong for all 37 years of my life, I really try to get
I
everything.
appreciate that.
I
Much
really
respect.
Thank you so much. Best of luck moving forward. Looking forward to finding out what's next for you.
Thanks, Rick. Bye.